Hello everyone, this is TracerPixel128, and today we are going to test some compatibility with games on my AMD Radeon RX 6750 XT. We're going to be playing through some newer games as well as some older games and see if they work. This is my current computer, by the way. For quick specs, this has a AMD Ryzen Threadripper 2920X CPU clocked at 3.4 gigahertz. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM. The motherboard is a Gigabyte ARS Pro X399. And the GPU, of course, is an AMD Radeon RX 6750 XT. With a 1TB SSD, a 3TB hard drive, and a 120 gigabyte NVMe SSD that I'll probably use for a future upgrade video. Stay tuned for that. So, let's roll the footage. To start things off, here is Idle Showdown. The average is 60 FPS and the low is 59 FPS. This is a relatively recent game as it was released a few months ago. It actually runs pretty well.
See you next stream. Victory!
The next game we're looking at is Portal 2 with an average of 298 FPS and a low of 128 FPS. Despite its age, it still plays very well. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I could do a playthrough this one day. You see how it looks? This is one of my favorite sections of the game. Old aperture. I love this part. Every time I open up Portal 2 again, I always go through this part. Now here is Mirror's Edge, with an average of 62 FPS and a low of 30 FPS. This is one of the older games that are in this video. This came out back in 2008, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but Portal 2 came out in 2011. Well, the PC version came out in 2009, but I'm using 2008 because that was when it was released on PS3 and Xbox 360. Still looks very good to this day, actually. It took me multiple takes to try to get this clip right, because it's been a while since I last played Mirror's Edge, and it took me a while to get used to the gameplay again. I kept falling. But it's still very fun. As you can see, this video card handles older games very well due to compatibility. Well, of course, I'm running this on Windows 10. I don't have Windows 11 yet, so I don't know how that's going to affect it. Here's Centauri with an average of 60 FPS and a low of 60 FPS. I'm running it on Steam, so I don't really know what the actual frames per second is because it doesn't show up on the Steam overlay, which is weird. A favorite of my childhood, this is the oldest game, released in 1999, and it has an expansion pack called Alien Crossfire.
Production complete.
Still pretty good. Might do a gameplay of this one day. Playthrough, maybe. My dad would play this for hours.
Indigenous life forms.
Handles older games pretty well, but then again, this is the GOG version, so probably patched to work on newer versions of Windows.
We hold life to be sacred, but we also know the foundation of life consists of a stream of codes, not so different from the successive frames of a watchman. Why then?
In Borderlands, the pre-sequel, it has an average of 315 FPS and a low of 78 FPS. Even though a lot of people say this is one of the weaker entries in the Borderlands series, but I didn't think it was that bad. I personally think it's underrated. Borderlands 3, in my opinion, was kind of a letdown. Might do a gameplay of this, maybe. I don't want to play through it again, for time's sake. In No One Lives Forever, there's an average of 60 FPS and a low of 60 FPS. It maintains a constant frame rate. Not constant. Consistent frame rate. It maintains a consistent frame rate throughout the game. Very underrated in my opinion. It hasn't been officially re-released anywhere, so... yeah.
Someone there? Here. I'm not going anywhere. I heard something.
Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and more videos will be coming soon, so stay tuned!